I have a message I would like to share with you today, and it is found in the Gospel of St. Matthew's, the 8th chapter, beginning at the 23rd through the 27th verses. And these words are recorded. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him, and behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, so much that the ship was covered with waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he said unto them, Why are ye fearful? O ye of little faith. Then he arose and he rebuked the wind and the sea, and there was great calm. But the men marveled. I want you to listen to this carefully. The men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? They asked a question. The question was, What kind of man is this, that even the wind and the sea will obey him? Well, I want to answer that question today with us. With the answer is, he is a miracle worker. Jesus is a miracle worker. You may ask the question then, well, since he is a miracle worker, then we hear people talking about miracles. We hear people talking about miracles on the television. We hear people giving individual testimonies about how God worked miracles in their lives. And I am even a testimony of God working a miracle in my life. But what is a miracle? Well, I found that one definition for a miracle is an extraordinary event manifesting divine interventions in human affairs. And to put it in my own words, miracle is God coming in and doing something that couldn't be done from a normal point of view. God comes in with his supernatural power and perform things and do things that otherwise would not be done. And when we think about the miracles in the Bible, the most important thing about the miracles, it isn't so much the miracle itself, but it's about God. God perform miracles for a person. He allows miracles to be performed for a purpose. And that purpose is that we may know who he is and to know who his son Jesus Christ is. God is the source of miracles. Uh, Miracles wouldn't happen if it wasn't for him, because he is all power. He has all power. And miracles comes in different forms and different shapes, different sizes. And when we look at the Old Testament and the New Testament, we see miracles throughout the Bible. The first miracle that was performed was in the New Testament was performed by Jesus Christ when he went to the wedding feast. I'm sure you know the story. And the wine gave out. When the wine gave out, his mother told him, said, y'all do whatever he tell you. And Jesus had him to pour water from one pot to the others. And in the process of pouring the water turned to wine. And when the king tasted, he said, why save the best for the last? So you see, God is a miracle worker. There's another miracle about when the crowd was on the hillside and the day was spent and they didn't have nothing to eat. Jesus took two little fish and 5 loaves of bread and fed more than 5,000. And they gathered up 12 baskets of leftover. That was nothing but a miracle. Nobody can do that but God. When I think about the man at the pool who had been there 38 long years, every time he tried to get in, somebody would step in ahead of him. But Jesus came by. And Jesus just simply says to him, take up your bed and walk. And the man got up. Now, that was a miracle. But when I think about it, I think about the Old Testament. That was a great miracle in the Old Testament. Sometimes we don't even think about it. But when Moses was leading the children out of Egypt, and they got out into the sea was before them, mountains on each side, and the army was behind them. They had nowhere to go. But they cried out to Moses, and Moses cried out to God, and God told Moses to stop crying and stop complaining. Use what you have. Moses stretched out his rod across the sea. And God, in his miraculous power, opened up the sea, and the children of Israel marched across on dry land. Now you're talking about a miracle. That was a miracle. But then there is a great miracle, and that is the miracle of salvation. The miracle of salvation. We don't understand how God can take our faith in Jesus Christ and then count us as righteousness before him. We don't understand it, but God, he says, all you got to do is just look. He said, all you got to do is just believe in my son. If you believe in my son, then I will accept you as being righteousness in my sight. I hold in order to have a miracle that you got to have three things. Number one, you got to have a problem. God deals with problems. If you don't have a problem, then you won't get a miracle. You got to have a problem. And the next thing is you got to have faith. You got to have faith that God will solve your problem. And then the next thing is you got to have God. You need God. You need to believe in him. You need to believe in him, because if you don't believe in him, then why come to him? The Bible says, he that come to God must first believe that he is God, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. When we look at this story, we go back to the text now. We look at this story of the disciples. They had got in a ship to go across to the other side, and no sooner than they got into the ship and started out, when they started out, everything was well. The sun was shining, no clouds. Everything was beautiful. But before long, a storm rose. And you know, that's the way life is. Sometimes you get up in the morning, everything seems to be just right. Everything moving in the right direction. And before lunch comes, a storm comes in your life. It can be all kinds of, in all forms, kinds of different storms come in our lives. Sometimes it wreck and change our lives forever. We never be the same again. But a storm rose. Storm rose. Not only that, but the second thing is the problem was too big for them. Many times we face storms in our lives, and they are too big for us. The storm was too big for the disciples. For the water and the waves began to come over into the ship, and as I stretched my imagination, the boat was filling up with water, and they were going to sink. It was a serious crisis, but they thought about Jesus who was on board. And I want to say this, you need to keep Jesus on board 24/7, because you don't never know when you may need to wake him up. But in the midst of them trying to save themselves, and they felt like that they couldn't make it by themselves, so they thought about Jesus, and somebody said, "Wake up, Jesus!" And they woke him up, and he walked up on the bows of the ship, and he just spoke. And the Bible said then everything got calm. The wind stopped howling. The thunder stopped roaring. Lightning stopped flashing. The water stopped falling. The sea became calm. You know, when there are storms in our lives, we need to wake up Jesus. You need to go somewhere and call on him. Sometimes you need to get on your knees. Sometimes standing up is not good enough. You need to get on your knees, raise your hand, throw your head back in the locks of your shoulders and call on him. Father, Father, I need you. And wait on him to come see about you. So they turn to the miracle workers. That's what we have to do. We have to turn sometime to the miracle worker. And he worked it out. I want to tell you that he is a miracle worker. He can work it out. If he can't work it out, it can't be worked out. But you got to have faith and you got to call on him. And then when he work a miracle in your life, you got to give him thanks and praises. Thank God. And I see too many of us, things happen in our lives and we thank everything and everybody but God. People talk about I had good luck. No, you didn't have good luck. God bless you with a miracle. And I want to say to all of you today who are listening to me, you need the miracle worker. And that miracle worker is Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world. He is willing to save you right now. He can. You understand? If you're not a Christian, if you're not saved, you're in a storm. And the only way you can be delivered from that storm is you got to wake up the miracle worker. And that miracle worker is Jesus Christ. He's waiting on you. He's not the hold up, you're the hold up. For the record is that if you believe in your heart and confess with your mouth, thou shalt be saved. What are you to believe? That Jesus Christ is, not he was or will be, but he is the Son of God. And that he died on the cross for you and me. If you can believe that and then confess it, the Bible said, thou shalt be saved. God bless you and may he keep you.